Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Project Power, a mono-white deck featuring some of new vehicles from Etherdrift along with tokens we'll use to crew the vehicles. We have some removals as well as a board wipe we can leverage to devastate the opponent's board while doing minimal damage to any men we have in play. We even have a sneaky reanimator card that we can use on one of our vehicles we have in the grave. To make sure we can get a vehicle back, the majority of the vehicles we're playing have cycling, and if that fails, one of our vehicles will bring back artifacts from the grave when it swings in. We're not racing, but it's time to zoom anyways. We're playing the full set of Authority of the Consuls, the 1 mana enchantment that makes the opponent's men enter tapped. And for every one of their men that enters play, we'll also gain a life. This has been an amazing enchantment that works hand in hand with small token men, since it makes it rather difficult for the opponent to set up blocks on critical turns. And the Authority works well with our sweeper, Split Up. Case of the Uneaten Feast is another 1 mana enchantment that gains us life when we have men enter play. In this deck, all we need is to gain a bit of life to offset some of the self-damages that we will inflict on ourselves thanks to the Hive. The life gain will be important against certain opponents who are loaded with damage capabilities. If we can gain enough life to extend a game, then the case will have done its job. Note that we are not playing actual men, so solving the case and using it to get men back from the grave is not an option this time around. This is only for life gain, and that's all. Lay Down Arms is a fantastic removal that I have enjoyed playing, especially when it first arrived in Standard. It can hit any enemy as long as we have enough planes that equal the target's mana value. And in a deck with mostly planes for lands, that should be something that's easy to do. Sure, the opponent will gain 3 life when we snipe one of their men, but it's a minor drawback since we're planning on coming in with far more damages than the life we've gifted them. The Hive is one of our token generators. It's a fantastic card that can sometimes win the game with a little help from Caretaker's talent. We do lose a life for every token we generate, which is why we want to have Case of the Uneaten Feast. Let's not make it easier for the opponent to knock us down. We do get a boost when we get the opponent to 3 poison. At that point, our lads gain life link, and we can regain a lot of the life we've lost simply by attacking with a squad of our mighty mites. We do have a couple of ways of pumping our tokens as well, so they are more effective when we send them. Caretaker's talent is one of the ways we have to pump our tokens. When we level it up to level 3, our tokens will get a stat boost. But before that, when we generate a token, the talent will draw us an extra card once per turn. This can slowly give us the advantage as we build our board up and draw into more cards. When we take the talent to level 2, we get to copy a token we control for only 1 white mana. Split Up is our sweeper of choice. It costs an easy 3 mana, and we can choose if we want to hit tapped or untapped men. This way we can take out enemy men while leaving most of our men on board. With an Authority of the Consuls in play, any new men that the opponent has played will be tapped, and if they've attacked, those men will also be tapped. It's such a crippling play that could win us the game shortly after. Tune Up is a new card that will bring back an artifact from our grave. If the artifact is a vehicle, it'll become an artifact creature. And the only artifacts we have in the deck are all vehicles. It's a great way to get back a flagship and not have to worry about crewing it. Salvation Engine is a new vehicle that also pumps other artifact creatures. Every lad will get a stat boost with this in play. But when we crew a vehicle, it too will get a stat boost, so a flagship will be a beefy 9/9 smasher in the sky. When the engine swings and we get an artifact from the grave that goes right into play. It's a fantastic way of getting back all the vehicles we cycled away earlier in the game. Detention Chariot is another vehicle we'll use to disrupt the opponent. Sure, it costs 6 mana, but we aim to get it back from the grave for a lot less. It does have cycling for 1 white mana, so getting it in the grave is rather easy. When it enters play, we get to exile one of the enemy men or an artifact until the chariot leaves play. It does seem like an expensive removal, but keep in mind we will be trying to get it in play for as little as 4 mana, or maybe even free. Valor's Flagship is the big mighty airship that we can cycle away to generate a bunch of pilot tokens. The pilots are excellent at crewing our vehicles, since it'll only take 1 to crew the flagship and the chariot, but we'll need 2 pilots to crew the Salvation Engine. Once we get a flagship in play, its size for a flying monster is fantastic. It does have first strike as well, so taking it down in combat will be very difficult. The life link is an added boost to our life total if we've been taking hits. At 7 mana, it is rather pricey to play out for its full cost, which is why we have other ways. For lands, we're playing 3 Mirrex, the land that generates LAD tokens, and 21 plains. And that's it. Playing the deck is fairly easy. It's all about playing out what we can early on, hopefully a Hive on turn 2. Then we continue building our board and cycling when we can. The Hive and a talent are huge keys to victory. And in some cases, that will be all we need to be able to take down the opponent. Use removals or our sweeper to keep dangerous enemy men under control. A well-timed tune-up during the mid-game on one of our big vehicles like the Flagship or the Salvation Engine can give us a huge edge. An excellent line of plays is cycling away our vehicles to get them back with a Salvation Engine. Along the way, we'll create pilot tokens to crew up vehicles when we can, or use them to get in for damages if we outnumber opposing blockers. The stat boost they can get from a leveled up talent might make them lethal. We have the power. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Salamander. No wait, he's not slimy, he's Kamalamander? Killamander? Yeah, brilliant. We kick things off with a 3-lander. We've got 3 vehicles we can cycle away and one of our sweepers. We like to see a better assortment of cards, but the Chariot we can cycle for only 1 white mana. Keep your hopes up. The opponent took a mull, twice, and went down to 5 cards. Couldn't find the combo the first couple times. Am I right? We draw an authority, and we'll play it out right away. And before they can counter it, they play out a bandit's talent. Discard could be a pain at times, but they're giving us a way of getting our vehicles in the grave. All we need is 1 more land and a tune-up. Having double authority in play can't hurt. Opponent got themselves stuck on 2 even after a pair of mulls. Keep your pants on, bro. Also, might want to add some lands to your list. Drawing lands is fine. This happens all the time in real life. Toss a card. This time we'll toss a land. We seem to have plenty of those, and we're still drawing more. Pixie, what a surprise. Keep those pants on, this is a family show. We draw yet another land. All of them must be in the top half of our deck. But at least this one is a Mirrex, and we can use it to generate tokens. I mean, just watch. They play their momentum breaker again, but this time we have an ace up our sleeve. Let's make a token, and we can sacrifice it instead of having to toss a card. By now it would feel wrong if we didn't draw a land. Shout out to the shuffler. They level up their talent, but don't send in the Pixie. I'm rather surprised. Let's cycle out our Flagship, and hopefully we've gone through the pile of lands that were on top of our deck. A case is nice to help offset any damages we take from their talent once we get down to 1 or less cards in hand. They even play Storm Chaser's talent. They're cooking a little too hard. They burn a removal on one of our pilots, sure bro. But are you sending that Pixie with the flat butt? They keep it in their pants. No whipping it out. Let's make a token before we take our turn. Double up on Mirrex, yes please. They even have the bounce combo, I mean, why not? Cooking so hard, their deck is overbaked. You're burning the bread, bro. We've drawn almost half the lands in our deck. This is totally random. Alright, it's time to thin the herd a little bit. Let's send that pixie to an early grave. They bounce away our last token. And now they're going for our last card in hand. Do we toss it or do we want to keep it? That is the question. Let's hold on to what we got. We draw a third authority, but at least it's not another land. We're going to need to figure out a way to beat their bounce gimmick. It's already gotten old. We get a case, and we might have enough life gain that they can't knock us out. They are tapped out, so going in will mean trades, which is just fine. No trades, those otters are more important alive than dead. But now they go up to 7 poison. They're going to need a board wipe, or to come up with 3 blockers, but keep in mind any men they play out enter tapped. Overcooked it, bro, way overcooked it. Also GG's. This is Jacques. No wait, it's Jackin. What are you jackin'? No wait, don't tell me, I don't want to know. We get a 3-lander again, but this time we'll be able to curve out very well. Our first 3 turns are already laid out, and we even have a sweeper in case things go bad. Keep your pants on. First turn goes to the case. We'll play out the hive on our next turn. We draw a second hive, and we might have to drop the second one on our third turn. Double lads every turn can easily overwhelm the opponent. They play out a lockdown which will set us back, but since we have a second hive, we should be fine. We get an authority and we'll play it out and follow up with our second hive. They play out a survivor guy, then follow up with a sheltered by ghosts. I'm gonna stop telling you guys to not play that card. People still do. Hopefully our regular viewers don't. We get rid of 2 of their cards for only 1 of ours. It's like their survivor and sheltered by ghosts didn't even happen. Alright, finally we're getting our talent down. We'll copy our first lad and draw a card as long as they don't have removal. We get our copy and draw a tune-up. All we need is something to cycle away, and we can get it back. They play another survivor, but I don't fully expect that guy to do much considering we have the mana to level up our talent. We get a second talent and we'll play it out. It's going to increase our board and card advantage. Then we'll copy one of our lads before we send them in for hits. We draw a case and that will be perfect. Now the Hive damage will be offset by the life we gain when a token is generated. It's all coming together. They play out a Kermit's Toes, but it's got a ways to go before it can do anything. Sure, they might be able to draw a card or 2, but they are about to take a boatload of pain when we level up one of our talents. We draw a third talent, and we'll play it out after we take one up to level 3. Brace yourself, bro. The lads are coming. Damages, bro, damages. And that will take them up to 5 poison. So our lads will have life link from here on out. They run out of here. It's not Kermit's Toes day. Smell you later, bro. Also GG's. This is Yak's KADR. Another keyboard mash gone wrong. Love to see it. We get a shuffler special this time around, but we've got 3 playable cards out of the 5, and all we need is 1 more, and to be able to fire off the split up. Keep. Going first with a turn 1 authority is always excellent. It's time for our Hive. They're on Golgari and might have a way to destroy it, but we've got to stick to our game plan. The old squirming reanimator. Some people can't leave the dead alone. We draw a Mirrex for our third land, but at least we got to 3. We do have a chariot we can cycle, and maybe dig up a 4th land. Thanks to our authority, their men enter tapped, so we'll have a full turn before their blockers come online. For now, let's cycle away the chariot. These removals are great. They exile, so the problem is taken care of permanently, but let's hold off. We'll make another token at the end of their turn, and we can snipe their blocker on our next turn. They fire off their squirming mess and get their Atraxa out of the grave. But once again it enters tapped. We're only getting older while we wait for Bro to pick some cards. Shouldn't be too difficult from what I saw. Alright, let's make a third token, and we'll be able to get in for 4 poison on our next attack. We draw a tune-up, which is awesome, but this turn has to be devoted to sniping their men. Smell you girls later. Don't forget to write. No lads were injured in the sweeping of this board. Oh no, they can play out a card from their hand or the top of their library for free. It had better be a good one, bro. A Lord Voldemort has entered the chat. That's one blocker they'll have available on their next turn. Note that we could fire off our tune-up and get back the chariot, and use it to snipe their Voldemort, but we have so many lads we don't need to bring it out. But it is there if this game were going longer. They need to play out 4 blockers this turn, or sweep our board. Good luck, bro, you can do it. There's always getting a Traxa out of the grave, that's always good fun. Am I right? That is not a blocker. Try again. Try harder. Another Atraxa might be able to block on their next turn, but this time around it doesn't do anything. Impressive, bro. Too bad that can't block for you, though. Let me shed a tear for you. Just kidding. We still have overwhelming numbers to their 1 blocker, and they're loaded with 8 poison, so we only need 2 of our lads to get through. Alright, time to end this. Get in there, lads. Poison damages, bro. Poison damages. Also GG's. This is EduBF, that may be true, but we're about to find out. We get a 3-lander with double authority and a Hive. The sweeper is a fantastic way to eliminate enemy men. Keep your pants on. They look to be on a life gain plan, probably with men that get bigger when they gain life. We'll be sure to gain life for every guy they play out. Plus, with an authority, all their attacking men plus the ones they just played out will be tapped, creating the perfect condition for our split up. There's a couple of cheap, fast men, and as we suspected, they are geared towards life gain. We'll play out our Hive. We're gaining enough life from their plays that we're over 20 for the moment. They're gaining plenty of life too, but they've played out most of their hand. They've got a whole 2 cards left in hand. This makes it a perfect time to send their men packing. No lads were injured in the sweeping of this board. They go through their turn without any plays. Seems they burned out all their playable cards, and we sent them to an early grave. Oopsie poopsie, bro. We'll play out our talent and gain even more of an advantage. Another turn without plays, that's absolutely bad news for them. They may have a bloated life total, but all we need is 10 hits with our lads, and they'll be toast. Let's play out another authority, just in case. We'll use the Mirrex at the end of their turn, and crank out another lad. They finally play out another guy, but the authority will make sure it won't be available to block. This game is over unless they've got a way to deal with our lads. We'll take our talent up to level 3 and give our lads a huge boost. And with Life Link, we'll get a huge boost in the life total. Let's kick them in their precious. Get in there, lads. Damages, bro, damages. The knight is cool, but that's not going to do anything to our lads. It's been GG's, they just keep playing like there's nothing wrong. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the shark man bite. Cheese it when you can, my friends. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer. Very satisfied.